youth who have been with us during this short time. We just started the Young Rainwater Champions collective from SARNET as a way of engaging youth, giving more space for youth to share their experiences and to highlight the youth, the voices of young leadership in promoting rainwater harvesting. So we started the Young Rainwater Champions collective in June this year. And we have come, during a short time, we have come a long way. And thanks to all of you for being with us and for encouraging us. So we could share the agenda. We've shared the agenda. So today we have, and as according to the title, we are happy to share with you the experiences not only from South Asia. We have been able to, we are fortunate that we have members, as we all always keep on saying, from different regions, from Africa, from East Asia, from Latin America, and so on. So, and today we have two members who are active in their own regions, and they are champions. From Malawi, we have Miss Kaitano, and then from Pakistan, representing Pakistan, we have Mr. Zain Said, who's an environmental engineer. So let me as we have mentioned in the agenda, we will move on to the presentation by Mr. Zain Said, but let me introduce Mr. Zain Said to you. Mr. Zain Said is an environmental engineer who is being passionate for sustainability, ESG in businesses, and for climate advocacy. He aims at promoting sustainable development, fulfilling SDGs, and create shared value. His passion for the environment and interpersonal skills like public speaking have enabled him to work with prestigious organizations like the WWF, Oxfam, and Pakistan Water Partnership. He has also been quite active in business development, stakeholder management, community-led development, social mobilization, etc. He is now pursuing a master's degree in environmental assessment and management at the University of Liverpool. So over to you, Mr. Zain. We could also share your presentation, or we could allow you to share it from your end.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I'll just try to share it myself. Just give me a moment. Yeah, here it is. Is it visible?
It is visible.
Okay. All right. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And it's an honor to represent not just my country, but to share the platform with all of you. And today I'll just give you a brief outlook that what are the potentials of rainwater harvesting in Pakistan and how much progress has been made. But more importantly, why do we face the situation like we are in today, and what is the reason behind that? And to be very honest, I always really sport, you can say, a big admirer of the rainwater harvesting, and making this presentation was not an easy, because I just wanted to add more and more to it. But then I just tried my best to make it brief and to the point. So I'll start with just a brief introduction and what the situation of water crisis in Pakistan is right now. Uh, Unfortunately, Pakistan is considered as an agricultural country, which is a good thing, but still we are ranked among the 14th in the list of 7 countries which are extremely high water risk countries of the world. The alarming thing is that when we take a look at the other countries which are in that list, you will find the countries like Saudi Arabia, or different, you can say, countries from Middle East, and those countries which do not have natural resources of water. Pakistan is really fortunate to have a lot of rivers, like I can name them: Ravi, Chenab, and the mighty Indus, Kunhar, River Jhelum. But still, we are ranked among the 14th in the list of 17, which is quite an alarming situation. And if this situation remains unchanged, Pakistan will be a country which will face the water scarcity by 2025, which is not that far. So all we have is just around 2 to 3 years to make our situation better. And when we talk about the topography and the regional, in the regional aspects, we see that Pakistan is on the lower riparian side of the subcontinent, so which is a disadvantage for us. But even then, due to some, you can say, mismanagement or lack of interest, we could not find a way to store our water efficiently. In that manner, we lose around 1/3 of the water, which goes straight into the sea. Uh, and the only water we use is just the 60 to 65 per 66%, which is not good at all. And if we take a look at the crisis, and we want to prove with evidence, because I belong to an engineering background and now I am still studying with some stats, so I always supporter of proving my words with some stats. So if we take a look at the Pakistan and its water availability per capita across the years, we see the drastic drop from starting from the 60s to 2022. This graph shows the data of the year 2017, and but I'll share some latest stats with you as well. We can clearly see that back in 1960s, we had 5,222 cubic meter available for each person. But now, back in 2017, it was just 1,187 cubic meter, which is, you can say, a drastic drop in availability of water. And in the same time, our population has just gone from less than 100 million to 220 million, which has also been a very big factor. And these stats of the 1,187 cubic meter are not applicable even today, because I was just reading some articles a few days ago, and now it's even less than 1,000 cubic meter per day per capita. So the situation is quite alarming in this aspect as well. Okay, we have seen the uh, crisis in Pakistan. We have proved it with some facts and figures. And now, if we just take a look at the reason behind those crises, uh, I'll try to just wrap it up, the reasons as soon as possible, because there are a lot of reasons, and I was just thinking what to add and what to remove. And the first reason is population. Just like I mentioned, that population is increasing exponentially. The last census we conducted back in 2017 shows that the population of Pakistan is around 220 million, and which is, you can say, much more than the one we had back in 1997, when we had another census, and at that time our population was around 130 million. So population has just increased around 100 million in the span of around 20 to 25 hours, 20 years, which is quite a significant increase. Secondly, unmonitored water withdrawals. Just like I mentioned like we have poor management, and similarly we don't even have the proper monitoring of water withdrawals in Pakistan. So we rank at the 160th in the ratio of water withdrawals to the country resources, and this data was collected back in 2017, just for the reference. And we were just performing better than only 18 countries across the globe. So you can say we are ranked around 182 or 183 in the world of 200 countries, and which is not good at all. And the next thing is agriculture. More than 55 to 60% people from Pakistan belong to the rural areas, and ultimately their source of income and the economy generation is mostly related to agriculture and their agricultural activities. But unfortunately, even in 2022, we have not come out of the practices we used to do back in, you can say, early 60s or 70s. So in that regard, we waste a lot of water, like the crops we have, wheat and sugarcane and rice and cotton. Every crop needs a lot of water, especially the crop of rice. So we need to improve in that aspect as well. Industry, although Pakistan is not an industrial country, but still the industry we have is taking a lot of water, because I'll just give you an example of the tannery industry, which is located in a town called Kasur, and it's right next to Lahore. So those who want to have a geographical idea must know what I'm talking about. So that industry is not just taking a lot of water, and secondly they are polluting a lot of water in it, because once they are dyeing their jackets, because it's the leather industry, when they are dyeing their jackets and all the you can say the articles being made in that industry, they just take a lot of water, and then they just pollute it and dump it into different water bodies as well. Up next, we have climate change, uh, and there is no denying that climate change is a reality. And right now, the situation Pakistan is in for the last 3 to 4 months is all because of climate change, because our weather patterns are changing, which is a bigger concern than anything else, and that's directly affecting our crops and agriculture as well. Uh, Changing weather patterns has caused too much to Pakistan and its economy as well. The recent floods are the example of that. And ultimately, the last factor is loss of water. We don't have enough dams or the storage capacities to save our water. All right, coming toward the rainwater. If we take a look at the area of the different countries, Pakistan ranks around the uh, rank in the top 40 countries of the world, which means Pakistan is not a smaller country in terms of area, because if you are around the top 40 countries, it means you are better than around 160 countries. And larger the area means you have better chances of having a bigger catchment for the rainwater. And Pakistan is also blessed to have some rainy seasons, and we have, you can say, an average of 494 millimeter of precipitation every year. And this was recorded back in 2017, just for the respect. A lot of statistics I'm quoting are from 2017. And this much rain over the country of larger catchment area gives us a golden opportunity to solve some water related problems through rainwater harvesting. Okay, because Pakistan, just like I mentioned, is quite a big country, and in order to understand how much impact can rainwater cause and how much a positive effect rainwater can have in terms of our national water development goals and national water management goals, I'm taking Islamabad as a case study. And this study was conducted by me and my 4 other friends back in 2020. uh, so it's a detailed study of how Islamabad can be studied as a case study, and how rainwater harvesting can solve some issues of the water problem in Islamabad. So if we see, Islamabad is not a bigger city like we have metropolitans like Faisalabad, Lahore, or Karachi. Islamabad is quite a smaller city, and still its daily water demand is around 176 million gallons per day. And when we have a peak season like in summers, the water availability is just 60 million gallon, and the shortfall increases to 106 million gallons. So there are some conventional practices going on in Islamabad to cater with these problems. Number one are the drill bores. Those who are a little bit familiar with Islamabad geography know that Islamabad um, is a city which was built in the mountains, and in those mountains, it's not a reliable, cost efficient, and it's not you can say wise solution to have some drill bores, because it does not give you the desired results. Number two, there was some attempts to make some wells, but the thing is wells are not reliable at all. And lastly, there are some contractors who provide the water tankers, and they just provide you, you just give them the money and they just give you the water at your home. But the thing is, it's too expensive. And after the COVID-19 and currently the war between Russia and Ukraine, the fuel prices and gas prices are going high. So it means that the private tankers are also going to increase their costs as well. So this is not a feasible solution at all. So in the next part of Islamabad case study, I'll just give you that Islamabad, although Pakistan has an average of 494 millimeter of the rainwater every year on average, but Islamabad, due to its location, gets a lot more of the rain, which is 1,150 millimeter every year. So here it's the breakdown. You can see that the major portion of our rainwater in Islamabad comes through the months of June, July, August, and September, which is the season of monsoon. And these are the exactly same season, these are exactly the same months when we have the most shortfall in Islamabad for the water availability. Other cities which could also be, you can say, beneficial in terms of rainwater and get a lot of rain include Lahore, Murree, Sialkot, Rawalpindi, and AJK. So there are some stats related to the rain and its patterns in Islamabad. All right, but it's not easy to have the rainwater harvesting, because the thing is, back in Asia, South Asia, we don't have the roofs with sliding rooftops, homes with sliding rooftops. We have the homes with the flat rooftop. It means it does not actually support you to make it a catchment. And if you want to make it a catchment, you see how it can be less efficient, because you're going to collect the water at the rooftop and then you have to channel it down to the ground. And then if you have to use it, you have to just make some additional supplements in terms of electricity and electric motor, for instance, if you want to pump the water. So in that manner, this process is not efficient at all. But what I and my friends came with an idea, it was that to build some additional structures and the catchments on the top of the rooftop, on the top of any house, and it will act as a basin. And instead of pushing your water down to the first floor or the ground floor, you are just having a catchment built on the top of rooftop, and then that water can be stored on the top of your home or any building you are living in. So instead of putting some extra effort to arrange some electricity or maintenance cost, you can just let the gravity do its work, and you can store all the water over there, and then you can just channel it down. We just targeted the hospitality area and took the Hotel Crown Plaza, is situated in Islamabad, as a case study. It has a 61 rooms and 4 floors, and we assume that there are 30 guests per day. And this is the top view of the hotel. And this much is going to the impact. You see, in the month of August, the rainwater can cover all the needs of this hotel, and in not in the August but July as well. So you see the chart, how much can it make an impact for the overall needs of the water required in a hotel. So that was just an example. And if you want to see an overall impacts of the study, you see these are the months which are just shown, that you can see in January, February, March to April. It's not too much because we don't have a lot of rain in that season. But in the monsoon, we can see you can cover more than 90% of your water shortage through this idea. And this idea was presented in a UNDP competition and was declared as a really smart and investable business idea. Okay, now after all these ideas, if you take a look at how Pakistan, its institute, its government, and some universities are catering the rainwater harvesting, we see that the first rainwater storage tank by the government was built near Faisal Mosque, Islamabad, and it's been a decade, if I'm not wrong, that was built back in 2010 or so. And then the most important step taken in this aspect was back in 2019 and 2020, when the provincial government of Punjab decided to build some stormwater tank. They just built one tank of the capacity of 1.4 million gallon, and that project was really successful, and that was created as a pilot project. And now there are 21 stormwater tanks in in Lahore which are being constructed to solve the issue of water crisis in Lahore. Similarly, an government institute called Pakistan Council Research of Water Resources has some rainwater harvesting as well. They fulfill all of their harvesting need through rainwater. And similarly, the university I've been a student of was the NUST, and they have also some rainwater storage to fulfill the requirements of harvesting, not the harvesting, sorry, horticulture back at university. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Zain, for that very insightful and research from very recent capturing, very recent times. So I'm sure all of you, there would be a lot of questions, things to clarify, for more information requests from Zain. So we recommend you wait for the discussion, and you can use the chat box or use the raise hand option also, because with the given time, we will move on to the next presentation also, and we will be having time for the discussion afterwards. So let's also give invite our next presenter for today from representing another region from Malawi. We have Ms. Kaitano. She's a rainwater harvesting field officer from Malawi. She works with communities, schools, individuals, and model villages in the adoption and promotion of different rainwater harvesting technologies. In the past 2 years, she has facilitated the construction of more than 50 calabash tanks. Carol has also helped establish a rainwater harvesting model village with 10 calabash tanks, and more importantly, she has initiated environmental clubs in schools that focus on rainwater harvesting and permaculture activities to improve nutrition and sanitation of school children. So I'm sure that we also have a lot of learning from Carol about calabash tanks and the concerns particular to Malawi.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, my name is Carol, as you already said. I'm not sure, Tanushi, will you be able to share my presentation, please?
Yes, one second.
All right, fine, thank you. I'll be sharing with you a few of our success stories that we've had here in Malawi in the promotion of rainwater harvesting. So just like Zain said, I also had so much that I wanted to put in, but tried as much as possible just to make sure that I've only included a few that will really give you a picture of what we're doing here in Malawi. Okay, so from the first slide, what you're seeing there, it's what we call a baby calabash. That one, we use it for hand washing. So it's one of the rainwater harvesting structures that we've constructed in primary schools that we were using in the prevention of COVID-19. So it was also part of our initiatives in constructing rainwater harvesting tanks, which we dash. The next slide. All right, through this presentation, I'm just going to give an introduction of what Rainwater Harvesting Association of Malawi is, what are our activities, and in the following slides, it is just going to be the activities that we're doing. Thank you. Okay, so Rainwater Harvesting Association of Malawi is a registered non-governmental organization. We're non-political as well as non-profit. We're a member organization of individuals, institutions, that are hailing from the general public, private sector, government institutions. So the objectives of the association is that we want to facilitate the establishment as well as to strengthen a national network in Malawi in order to build capacity and create awareness of rainwater harvesting management. So we do this by helping, by providing trainings with government extension workers, by providing trainings with farmers, teachers, etc. Well, our other objective is to facilitate rainwater harvesting research, technology, and development, and transferring the evaluation of the work that we're doing. We've done this so far by incorporating with students that are studying environmental science, that are studying water quality. So we work together with students in making sure that they are collaborating in our work. We are understanding how best we can improve our quality of services. So far in the past year, we've managed to work with a student who's studying water quality. We're able to take samples of the water that we're harvesting in the rainwater tanks to measure it, find out what bacteria is in there, or if is it safe to be for drinking or other non-potable users. Our other objective is to organize training workshops, provide demonstrations, meetings, and exhibitions on the general theme of rainwater harvesting. I can say that we've so much done that in the past years. All right, here, this is one of our activities that we're doing as an association, construction of calabash systems in primary schools. And through the introduction that Danushi said previously, we've managed to construct more than 20 primary schools. In 20 primary schools, we've constructed more than 50 calabash systems in primary schools. We've also constructed many other rainwater harvesting tanks, which include ferrocement tanks. Our ferrocement tanks are usually bigger in capacity than the calabash tanks that we have. Like this calabash tank that you're seeing here is one of the tanks that we constructed in urban Lilongwe. So these tanks, they have been constructed in both urban and primary areas. I mean, in rural primary school areas in both in all districts across the country. So in partnership with Scope Malawi, as you can see on this calabash tank, it's written as Scope Malawi Permaculture School. So this is one of our partner organizations that we work with. We partner with so many organizations, World Vision, SIPA, what's this? Okay, I just forgot the name. Oh, I mean, UNICEF. So we've managed to partner with this and serve the children. Yeah, so we partner with these organizations to construct rainwater harvesting tanks in primary schools so that we can foster permaculture activities, we can foster nutrition, we can also foster sanitation and health. So this is one of our schools, and it's like one of our model schools, the one we've worked with for a very long time. So in partnership with Scope Malawi, we've managed to construct calabash tanks that have been ranging from 7,500 liters to 10,000 liters in different schools across the country. We've also managed to construct ferrocement tanks that are 30,000 liters, underground tanks that are 50 to 100,000 liter tanks. So we construct these tanks in schools that face water scarcity, that have water shortage problems. So these tanks have equipped schools to overcome the issues of water shortages. This has also helped with gardening of the schools. This tank that you're seeing at the school has facilitated the production of fruits and vegetables. The students in the school have an orchard, which they have their fruit trees. They also have a vegetable garden where they are growing their vegetables, which they use for food as well as for selling. So, okay, our next slide. All right, so promoting rainwater harvesting in the schools has really provided an effective and a sustainable solution to raising water security. We've improved sanitation. As I showed or mentioned earlier during the first slide, we also construct baby calabash. So these are also providing water for washing their hands. We're providing health, we're providing sanitation to the students at the school. So because of these tanks that we've constructed, these of almost each and every school has an orchard and it has a garden. We've provided an ability for schools to be turned from gray schools to blue or green schools. We have schools that were bare, that had no grass, that had no flowers, they had no gardens at all. We've seen schools use this water that has been harvested for the purposes. As you can see in this picture, these are one of the students from the previous slide on the tank that was showed. They were demonstrating some of the fruits from their orchard and the vegetables from their vegetable garden on one of our exhibitions where we had the president of the nation, and they were able to showcase their work and how they're harvesting rainwater for their benefits. We can say that this is really beneficial to the students because operationalizing this initiative in these primary schools, it has really helped the learners to develop an interest in extracurricular activities. They have developed interest in water, sanitation, and health activities, in environmental conservation. It is also something important because it has instilled a culture of rainwater harvesting in these children from a tender age. Most importantly, it has given us as an association a platform to showcase that rainwater harvesting can be done at a larger scale. So these children, as they're growing up, they will not only know that rainwater can be harvested in a bucket, because that is the primary way of harvesting rainwater in most of the families, be it in the rural or in the urban areas. We just think of putting a bucket under our roof, and that's the water we collect, which we can only use for a day or less than a few hours. But these children, as they're growing, they're learning that rainwater can be captured in larger amounts, in larger volumes. We can capture to even 100,000 liters and use it for more than 3 or 5 months. Next slide. The other activity that we're doing as an association is the introduction of a rainwater harvesting model village. So this one that we're seeing here is a rainwater harvesting model village that we have here in the Lilongwe, in our capital city. We managed to construct more than 10 calabash tanks. This tank that you're seeing here, I put those pictures to depict how the construction began until its end. And you can see from the other pictures the happy owner of that calabash tank. This village has a water source which is away from the village at, I think, 4, if not 5 kilometers from the village. And we constructed tanks for the elderly, the women, and these are the people that were really happy to have been introduced to the concept of rainwater harvesting. So in this slide, I was just saying that when we're augmenting sources of water, we did this in assistance with the Clean Water and Health Village through ERA to construct these tanks that we did. So one thing that we did was to request that the owners of the tanks should be able to provide the bricks, the sand, and water. So they would draw water from the well for the construction of this tank. The reason that we did this was to place that sense of ownership, because we thought if we're just going to construct, like give everything to them, they would not take very much care of it, because they wouldn't have felt, that element of giving towards the project of what they're working on. So we asked them to provide, and they were willing, and they provided for it. And we managed to construct 10 calabash tanks, each being 2,500 liters, and 2 other calabash tanks that were 5,000 liters. So in total, we constructed 12 calabash tanks for this village. Next slide. So here we had Han, the president of ERA, visit Malawi, and we took him to our model village. In this picture, you'd see we had a woman who was expressing her gratitude as to how this calabash tank has helped them as a village and as women. She was explaining how it was a difficult task to come from the farm, go and walk some 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers to collect water, to come back and start cooking and everything. But this tank being brought to their house had made it easy for them. They were now able to just go beside their house and have a source of water right there. It also made easy for their children, because Now the children just woke up in the morning, took a bucket, draw water just right beside their house, take a bath, cook food and go to school. While previously they had to walk several kilometers. Sometimes they were even late for their classrooms. So the mothers, they were so happy. They were very happy to express this. The elderly were really happy to express this. Now they have understood the importance of rainwater harvesting in their villages. Not only were they happy for this, they've also managed to have backyard gardens. I was unable to put that in this presentation, but almost each and every household that has a calabash tank has a backyard garden, has a herbal garden. So now they also have the ability to have vegetables just behind their house where they can easily water their vegetables. Now, this is also helping in their nutrition thing. They're able now to get food just behind their house. They don't have to walk distances to go to the market, even if they do not have money. Right behind their house, the vegetables are there to supplement their food. Next. All right, the other concept that we're doing right here in Malawi is that of using borrow pits to harvest rainwater. Now, for those that don't know what borrow pits are, these are the holes that are made when excavating for material to construct a road. So usually when for countries in Africa, many countries, including Malawi, where we have poor roads, we need to construct a new road, or we need to repair the road that's already there. We need source materials for the construction of the road. And usually the materials, when they're taken for this, what happens is it is left unattended, and it's now just going to be a big hole of maybe it's going to be a big hole of maybe 0.4 acres, and that is just left there unattended, just like that. And water will just come there during the rainy season, and it's going to be a place for breeding mosquitoes. And really, the communities do not really understand how they can utilize or manage the potential of this borrow pit to make it beneficial for them. So these communities, we had to go as an association, going around this for observation, as well as interviewing the communities as to how best they use the water from those borrow pits. And during the time that we visited and interviewed this, we were able to highlight to these communities that these excavated structures, they could become an important water supply source for rainwater harvesting, even for irrigation, which would benefit them. So it would benefit them either financially, I think, it would benefit them by providing another nutritious material for their food and everything. So rather than the way they were leaving it unattended to and just leaving it laying there with its potential intact. So the emphasis was made on how this borrow pit would really be beneficial for them. We began to work with these communities and formed a club with which they were to work on them. We taught them how they can be able to use the rainwater that was in these borrow pits for their production of vegetables, for their production of herbal gardens, and how best it can benefit them. The club is now growing different vegetables, which they're going to be selling, and this is going to bring money to the club. From this picture, you can see they're growing cabbages, they're growing Chinese cabbage, they're growing rape, they're growing pumpkin leaves, they're growing tomatoes, onions, garlic, and we've also managed to take them for some trainings with one of our partners, a person who is also our prestigious member from Never Ending Food, where they were able to learn permaculture activities. They were also able to learn how they can make manure by themselves, so that what the production that they're making should be totally organic with no reliance on fertilizer. Yes. Next slide. Okay, so these are the other products. You can see that tomatoes are also the other part of the productions from this borrow pit. And on top of that, they're producing this. We were able to teach them that they can be able to conserve their soil and manage the whole soil and water conservation technologies around the borrow pit, because this is what we also call road runoff harvesting. Water is coming directly from the roads and it diverts itself. The water makes its own way for itself into the borough pit. So we had to train them how they can make sure they make the water to slow before, instead of as in reducing the speed in which it goes into the borough pit, because with the way it was left unattended, gullies were being formed, soil was being carried, topsoil was being carried into the borough pit, and this was also going to causing siltation of the borough pit. So we had to provide a training, and to make sure that we're making this to be something that is sustainable, we managed to work with the extension workers around the area so that they can provide better training and they can be with them at all times when we're not even surrounding the place. So we've always managed to tell them that, emphasize that rainwater harvesting is always a unique opportunity for Malawi as a country, for us as citizens of this country, to utilize every drop that falls to the ground, and that the rehabilitation of water storages like these water tanks would allow them to practice small-scale irrigation. It would allow them to practice things they would never do. It's because during these dry seasons, they're just idle. But now we've given them an opportunity to be able to produce something that will supplement their food requirements and as well to improve them economically. So in conclusion, I'd say promoting sustainable rainwater management through rooftop, through the calabash tanks that we're constructing, either at a domestic level or at an organizational level, in communities and villages, in schools or individual houses. It is going to improve people's quality lives differently. And schools, institutions, this is an observation I've made. They need to be made aware of the enormous benefits of implementing rainwater harvesting in their premises, all right? Because this does not only reduce the cost of the cost on water. It does not only reduce the amount of money they spend when it comes to water bills. Yes, it is also important that they apply this concept of rainwater harvesting in educational institutes in their curriculum, so that we instill that our students, our children, as they grow, they get the concept of rainwater harvesting from a very tender age. I would also love to conclude that rainwater harvesting systems, they have to be on long-term planning and investment strategies for our sustainable development of our countries. If we do not manage the water that is being provided to us in the rainy season, it is very difficult for us as countries, more especially in Africa, to achieve our sustainable development goals. All right, you can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram, on Twitter, using those handles. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again for an insightful, awakening presentation, Carol. I'm sure all of you have a lot of questions from both presenters. So now is the time you can send via chat box or directly raise hand or express your question. Yes, Mr. Gadesi, would you directly express your question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dhanushi. It was excellent to see these two youngsters presenting very insightful presentations on rainwater harvesting. One is from my country, Mr. Zain, and even from my university, NUST. Nice to see you, Mr. Zain. And I have just an observation on that, somehow you might have skipped the largest ever project we implemented of rainwater harvesting in Pakistan after earthquake 2005. And by the way, my research was from NUST University, and you might have seen some of the systems installed on the IESC buildings. So you were just mentioning that it is a little bit difficult to catch water from the flat roofs, and you are suggesting some sort of slopy additional roof on top of the flat roofs. This is a sort of, to me, it is a sort of little misconception. It's very easy to collect water from the rooftop, flat roofs as well. You might have seen, I have taken advantage of the downspouts installed on IEC buildings, and I have demonstrated that on the same university building. So what I suggest that, okay, and we recently implemented 300 schools we constructed in Kashmir area under Islamic Development Bank project, wherein in those hilly areas we provided rainwater harvesting on that. And the largest ever project I was saying, because after earthquake 2005, we implemented rooftop rainwater harvesting on more than 40,000 units, including 1,300 plus public sector buildings as well, which included schools, colleges, health units, etc., etc. So let us talk sometime. You are in Islamabad. I am most of the time in Islamabad and in Kashmir as well. So we can talk on this more, that how we can take advantage of the previous experiences of ERA. I can share some of the documentaries. But in any case, it is a pleasure to see you, that you have presented a very broader picture of Pakistan as well. Coming to Ms. Carol, again, it is nice to see you that you have implemented a practical solution for Malawi. The only thing I suggest for Carol, what I see, the water tanks, you people are capturing rainwater directly into the main storage. Actually, if you see, if it doesn't rain for some time, whether a week time or 10 days or a month, you get dust and dirt on the rooftops. So what we introduced during our project after earthquake in the promotion of rainwater harvesting in Pakistan, we introduced the first flush diverter. Actually, what you need to do is you need to introduce a small storage in which the first flush of 5 to 10 minutes should go into that, so that maximum solid suspended material or dust and dirt like that or leaves should go directly into that small first flush diverter, and then relatively clean water should go into the main storage, so that you have less frequency of cleansing. Otherwise, generally what I found, that people think that it is not good, the rainwater is not good because it gets dirty, and they see that the rainwater is not good for the use. So that is my suggestion for both of these youngsters. Once again, congratulations to Lanka Rainwater Harvesting in SARNET. I think we are getting close, getting maximum experiences all around the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gardesi. And also, this platform has allowed the interaction with the youth and the more senior experts like you. So which is we are come close to the ideal, as you said.
Exactly. Yes, it's excellent.
Anyone else who want to express anything? Yeah, Kat.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for the suggestions. I think we'll have to consider that in maybe our next tanks that we'll be constructing. But in the previous tanks that we've constructed, we didn't really think of the first flush, mostly because I would maybe put it there money or something, but we tried to provide an alternative for it. Mostly we tell the communities or the people that we've constructed the tank for, we ask them that the very first rains that come, they do not open the inlet. So when the rains come, we expect that the first rain or the very first rains, they wash the rooftop before the next rains are getting into the tank. So that's the only way that we've tried to make sure that the water is clean. As well as when, say, this is October, usually our rains here in Malawi begin in November or December. So we always encourage them that by the time we are approaching the next rainy season, they should be able to open the outlet that the remaining little water that was in the tank should come out so that the next water that comes in is clean. On the tanks that we construct on the top there is a space like an inlet, a bigger inlet where a person can enter, usually my size or taller, can enter it through. So we ask them that they go in there and clean the tank thoroughly and open the outlet, that whatever they've cleaned now comes out. And when the first rains fall on the roof, it is clean, and that the next rains come in as cleaner. But thank you for the suggestion. The first flush should definitely be something that we have to be considering in the next tanks that we'll be constructing. Thank you.
Yeah, you are most welcome. One more, I think I was really happy to see that you are engaging the communities actually and taking, giving them the ownership. That is very important for any project. Until unless they think that this is our property and this is our job to do. Yes, you are right. The second thing, the first flush diameter, basically that is introduced because you doesn't know that rain will happen in the mid of the night and somebody will go on the rooftop and they will clean or they will open it or close it. But that's good. This is a learning process actually. So you are passing through that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gadesi, and thank you, Carol. I have an announcement I like that I have to make a sign. The presenter wanted to convey that he has to excuse himself because he also has to attend a lecture. But he's happy to take the questions and suggestions forward. So we also have Dr. Tanuja, raised hand from Dr. Tanuja, and then Zain is also here. Tanuja, I will give a chance to Zain first. Right. Okay. Okay, Zain.
Okay, first of all, I'm really glad to see Mr. Gardesi over here because I've been a fan of him and his work because I knew that he was one of our senior. And sorry because I cannot speak it out loud and because I'm just right next to my lecture hall. And anyways, and you are absolutely right that there were some projects even at NERST, and some of my class fellows did some projects regarding rainwater harvesting. One of them is Jawad, and he might have contacted you as well. And yeah, just wanted to say you that it's an honor to have a chat with you, and would definitely like to get in touch with you to have some more and in-depth practical knowledge as well.
Sure, then. Pay my regards to Dr. Arshad, Dr. Sher Jamal, Miss Iram, everyone, and definitely
sure.
we will be meeting soon, inshallah.
Yeah, sure. Inshallah.
Thank you, Zain. Then we'll Dr. Tanuja also has a point.
Yeah, before Zain goes off, just a quick inquiry from him to find out what is the stormwater tank that has been used for, just to take out the flood water, or is the tank water being used for some purpose? By the way, very good presentation, Mr. Zain. You can just clarify.
The stormwater tanks I mentioned, it's a project by the government of Punjab. They built some stormwater tank across the city of Lahore because Lahore has also been facing some problems regarding water. And the mainly what I have learned from my understanding and research, that this water will be mainly used for the horticulture purposes and not for the, you can say, drinking purposes, but all the domestic needs, where the government can just direct this water instead of using the different resources. They have just collected the rainwater in different stormwater tanks across the Lahore, and in this way they might just try to reduce the water pressure which is already existing on our water bodies.
Tanuja, I'll just add on.
Yes, Mr. Ganesh.
Because, yeah, I have talked to the DG Vasa, Mr. Zahid, who has been basically the main project director for this project. And they have built in the green areas and the park areas as well. And mainly they will be utilizing this water for horticulture of these green areas, green belts and orchards, etc., etc.
Excellent, excellent to hear that. Small question from Carol as well. Very good presentation from you as well. Thank you. And just a quick inquiry about the calabash tanks. Beautiful design. I really like the shape. What are the sizes? I think you mentioned, but I didn't catch it. That is available. What sizes, capacity do you construct it?
Thank you very much that you like our designs. Well, we've constructed calabash tanks from 2,500 liters to 10,000 liters. As I'm speaking right now, our masons have just completed a construction of a 20,000 liter calabash tank. So I can say that our calabash tank will ranges from 2,500 liters to 20,000 liters.
Okay, great, great. And you don't use a chicken mesh. You use wires, I think. From what I
We
understand.
use the chicken mesh. We use the chicken mesh. We use the galvanized wire. Yes,
well,
we
right.
just use the bricks for molding, but in the process after putting the mesh, the bricks are removed and then they put the plaster and make it concrete.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one question from Ms. Karen. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Kadesi.
Yeah, just want to know what I understand from her presentation, that she says that there is I think there's a little bit bigger or longer time span between the rainy season and the dry spells. So once you have a longer span, then how you design the storage capacity, because the storage capacity of the rainwater harvesting water tanks totally depends upon the time period, actually, for how long, for how much storage you require for the dry spell. Actually, do you design for that? But what I can see that it's not more than a 1,000 gallon tanks you are providing, which should be hardly enough for, I think, maximum 15 to 20 days if it doesn't rain, actually. So are you taking those sort of calculation in mind, or just some empirical calculations you are carrying out?
Well, I would say that when it comes to that, we haven't taken those calculations scientifically or mathematically in any way. But what we've done is that we've just provided like an alternative source of water. It's like we're augmenting the already existing water source. But for communities like the model village that we have, these ones have a water source 4 kilometers from their home. What we do is during the rainy season, the water they're using directly the one that is in their tank. But after the rainy season, we encourage them that they can be able to take water from the other main source, which is usually their borehole or a well. So we tell them to take water from there and they put it in the tank so that they So it's like we've just tried to reduce their workload of water collection for these women, these old ladies. We've just tried to reduce their workload because financially speaking, it wouldn't be affordable for us to construct a larger volume of tank for the whole village as we did. So we maximized the opportunity by constructing 5,000 liter tanks for each household, and that they can be able to use this water during the rainy season. But after the rainy season, that means instead of going on a daily basis to collect water, now they can go once or twice per week, 3 times or 4 times a month. Yes.
Yeah, that I know because we have passed through such kind of situations. Initially, we will be providing a simple storage without any calculation, but with the passage of time, we have gone very much professionally, and we have developed the guidelines so that the people who can afford, because in rainwater harvesting particularly, this is the cost of the storage actually. The cost of storage is the major implication actually. So whosoever can afford, we should develop guidelines and the calculations based as a professional, so that if someone is able to afford the storage, so they should be provided with such kind of guidelines that okay, how much they should know, that how much potential of rainwater is there available for them. And right now I am doing a sort of Mr. Zain, I am doing a sort of a project in the Murray for army tentacles. Actually, they have requested me, so we are going to provide them guidelines that how much is the maximum potential. So whatsoever they can afford, they should be doing like that. So that I would suggest in case of Malawi, I can see that the people are not much richer over there, definitely, but they should know that what is the maximum potential. So as a professional, what I would suggest that you can develop some sort of basic guidelines.
All right. Well, I think if you do already have an existing guideline for the calculations, I'd appreciate if you share us. That would also help us provide a better way of calculating the amount or the volume of tank that should be constructed, because there are a few other potential, say, weekend farmers, people that have a job but would rather have a farm and go to their farm on the weekends. These are people that can afford a storage tank. So
Yes,
it would
yes.
really be, we would definitely use this kind of guide for such people.
Okay, that's we will be sharing, inshallah.
All right, thank you.
Also, Carol, we have in our website, Lanka Rainwater Forum, we'll send it to you. We have developed a calculator, which is online calculator. But we have fed in the rainfall pattern of Sri Lanka into it. So anybody who like to have a tank, they can put in the requirement. They have like how many people in the household, how many liters of water they need, and what district they are in, and then get the maximum storage capacity tank for their rainwater system. Similarly, you can have feeding in your rainfall data in your country. Similar time, we can help you to develop that as well.
Yeah, that was my point actually.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that point has been taken.
Okay.
So we are moving from just discourse to practice. So this what is emerging is being it is being taken at practitioner level, so which is a good thing. So like whatever has emerged from today's discussion, what can we do with it? How do we take them forward? I'm sure, so as the next item, before we conclude today's discussion, today's webinar, Dr. Thanuja will give an overview on what to expect. How do we take the learnings forward from here? It doesn't end from here. We have so much of learning generated. So over to you, Dr. Tanuja, to say what's in store for all the participants.
Okay, thank you, Dhanushi. I think really I'm very, very happy to hear these two youngsters presenting today and the previous ones also. And it is actually your forum, so use this forum to share experience and knowledge and gain from the other people's what, because this practice has been, all of us been doing our own thing in different countries, and there's so no need for everybody to make the same mistakes. We can learn from each other and also develop our own technologies or practices as well. So this is your platform. The Young Rainwater Championship Network is your network. So use that for your benefit of the work you are doing, and also to provide the essential water for the people of your country and on the region. I hope the others who are listening today and also in the network will take this opportunity to present your experiences. So we are all friends here, so we can present any form you like, and videos and presentations, and just talk about what your experience is, and then support each other. So I hope there'll be more people coming forth to give their experience and present their cases. With that, we also have an announcement about the second SARNET conference, which is coming up in May next year. The announcements are out in the SARNET website as well as other social media by SARNET. Please take this opportunity to send some papers. It doesn't have to be a scientific paper, or it doesn't have to be a very formal paper. We take in many forms of presentations like videos, etc. So even posters, etc. So last year we had over 500 people attending this conference over 3-day period. So a lot of interaction, it was very successful. Although last year it was totally online. Hopefully this year it will be both online as well as in person. So the conference will be held in Sri Lanka, so it's a chance for you to visit our country. And it is not only going to be the conference this time. We are also going to combine it with two other activities, which is before the conference, a training program on construction of the ferrocement tank, the pumping ferrocement tank designed in Sri Lanka. And maybe Carol will come over and teach us how to do the calabash tank as well. Who knows? We can combine both of them together. And then the conference for 2 days. And then afterwards, those who are willing to take a little bit more longer time in Sri Lanka, there'll be a tour around Sri Lanka, visiting ancient rainwater harvesting systems in the north part of Sri Lanka, and also to the hill countries to visit some more projects around the island. So it's going to be a really gala event in May. So I hope all of you get prepared for it and send your presentations beforehand. I think the deadline is going to be in November. The brochure is out, so please join us at that event as well. And thank you again for your participation today.
Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. And thank you to all our rainwater champions who are with us always, giving us courage and enthusiasm to continue to join hands with you. So we will share the key learnings in our social media platforms. So look forward to it. And let's meet soon with another interesting event. And good day to you, and a good evening to all of you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.